Hey guys, Prep for Life here. Wanted to come back at you with another video about camping. So, obviously I'm a bigger guy. One of the biggest issues with going camping had to do with my snoring. I sleep with a CPAP. I'm assuming many of you out there know exactly what this machine is. Common misconception is that if you sleep with a CPAP, you can't go camping, let alone go on a backpacking trip. So stick around and I'll show you what I've learned over the years through trial and error. A couple of years back, I went and invested in one of these. It's a Goal Zero battery. Now, I've seen a few different posts and videos on people using deep cycle marine batteries, even car batteries. It's definitely easy to get the right hookups. What's unique about Goal Zero, and the reason that they're going to cost a little bit more than those other options, is because of the ongoing self-sustainability. What I mean by that is not just having to plug this in. We're going to talk a little bit about solar options and how they're going to benefit you in your camping adventures. All right, so off the bat, batteries are heavy. They're going to take a lot to carry around. The other issue is going to be how long they last, right? So CPAPs take a lot of energy, especially if you're using a humidifier like I do. I live in a dry climate, and humidifiers are almost essential. In the early days, I went and picked up an inverter to attach to the side here. They've actually since updated this model, and if I can get a hold of a newer version, I'll do a review on that as well. But I would end up just plugging the AC end of my CPAP into this inverter, and that would power me. Now the problem there is, again, the humidifier sucks a lot of power. This thing turns on because it starts overheating, so it has its own little internal fan, and it just gets loud in the tent, right? So I tried a couple of workarounds, but then I stumbled onto one of the coolest secrets of CPAP camping. I went and picked up one of these from the CPAP manufacturer. It's actually made by ResMed, if that's the manufacturer that you use. But what's important is that it's a car adapter. It's a 12-volt DC adapter. Now the DC is what's key here. It makes things run a lot more efficiently, and I can tell you from experience, I was able to run this on a much smaller battery. So this is still a cool option if you want to run a lot of other things at camp, like lights, charging your devices, things like that. It's huge. But I was able to minimize down to the smaller version, the 150. Now officially on Goal Zero's website, they don't recommend running one of these to run a CPAP, especially with a humidifier. I found though, using my DC inverter, coming again from the CPAP manufacturer, this thing easily runs my CPAP all night long. Now, I do have to say the caveat has to do with the humidifier. When I turn my humidity settings all the way down, or very, very, very low, I can, using a DC converter, run this. I can actually get probably 2 nights out of this battery if I'm not doing anything else. I'll wake up in the morning and it's either about a half or maybe 2/3 of the way down, depending on how the climate was and how much the humidifier had to run. If you disconnect these, if you don't live in an area where you need humidity and you're just running the CPAP, very easily you can get several nights out of this battery without even having to recharge. That's what's crucial. Again, remember the humidifier is having to generate heat to pump out humidity into the air that you're breathing. So if that's a necessity, you have to take that into consideration with your power needs. Okay. Now, I've actually been able to run my CPAP off of their, well, this isn't their smallest battery, but when we're talking about weight limitations, especially in the concept of hiking, backpacking, lightweight camping, that's where this comes in really handy. Now, this is their Sherpa 100, and the 100 is actually really cool. I have the optional inverter plugged in there right now too, because I was running this on a trip with my laptop and I needed AC power. But again, the key here is the DC input. So you'll notice on this battery, you've got a direct 12-volt input. For this little beauty right here, it comes with a DC connector. Another little trick I found is that if I have the humidity chamber attached and full of water, but maybe not running, it's turned off, depending on what the climate is, the temperature, I can actually still get the humidity back that I breathe out, and it stays within the mask. And it's kind of a cool little trick, but I've been able to get a full night's, now it's going to suck this thing dry, but I've been able to get a full night's rest off of this battery using this CPAP. Now again, check with your manufacturer. You may need to do a little bit of research regarding power consumption and things like that. But that's what I've learned, is that Goal Zero also manufactures solar panels. Now this is one of the folding Nomad panels. This is actually a 7-watt. So with this particular panel, you're really only looking at charging smaller devices. I recently upgraded to one of the 20 panels, which is really, really cool. It used to be that you could only get the hard side 30-watt panels from Goal Zero. They were like basically a big picture frame, and they're really cool, but they're hard to lug around. When you're talking about folding things up, especially when you're backpacking, these are a very cool option. You're talking about 20 watts. If you clip this to your backpack, clip it to a tent, and let it go, this can charge these devices, especially when you're talking about this little Sherpa 100. Without the inverter, I can actually toss that, again, back into the back pocket here, let it hang, or throw it on a backpack while I'm hiking, and after a full day of charge, it's ready to go. Now keep in mind, guys, this means that you can go camping with your CPAP for days on end and not have to charge into your car to fill the battery up, not have to find a power outlet in between. This basically cuts the cord and allows you to really go off grid with your camping. And believe me, it's made all the difference in the world. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this video useful. Please be sure to like and subscribe for upcoming video content I'll have coming out. Also share in the comments anything you found helpful over the years.